Hello everyone, so today we are going to solve CAT 2022 Quant Slot 1 paper. So here's our first question. So the question says A and B are two natural numbers and we are provided with two expressions. One is A square plus AB plus A is equals to 14 and the other one is B square plus AB plus B is equals to 28. And what we need to find out is we need to find out the value of 2 times of A plus B. So how we can start with this question is let's write the two expressions first. So the first one is A square plus AB plus A is equals to 14. The other one is B square plus AB plus B is equals to 28. Now what I can do is I can add these two expressions. So this becomes A square plus B square. This becomes 2 times of AB and this becomes A plus B and right side becomes 42. Now, if you observe this closely, this is nothing but A plus B whole square and this is A plus B and the result is 42. Now, what I can do here is I can take A plus B common from these two individual expressions. So, if we take A plus B common, this becomes A plus B into A plus B plus 1 and this should be equal to two such natural numbers which are consecutive. So how I came to this conclusion that this should be equal to two consecutive natural numbers. So if you observe this closely, A and B are natural numbers, so obviously the sum should also be natural number, and this expression is A plus B plus 1. So this is nothing but a consecutive natural number value to A plus B. So now my next task is how should I break this 42 into two factors which are two consecutive natural numbers. So you can observe this closely and easily you can find out that the two numbers should be 6 and 7. So from here on what we can say is A plus B is nothing but equals to 6. Now what I have to find out is I have to find out the value of 2A plus B. So for that I have to find out A as well as B. But what I can do here is I can make multiple cases. So let's say A and B. So if I take the value of A as 1, I cannot take the value of A as 0. Why? Because A and B are natural numbers. So if I take the value of A as 1, B becomes 5 and the sum becomes 6. If I take the value of A as 2, B becomes 4 and again the sum becomes 6. If I take the value of A as 3, B becomes 3 and the sum becomes 6. If I take it as 4, this becomes 2. If I take it as 5, this becomes 1. Okay. Now, which is the correct case? For that, what I can do is I can pick up the values one by one and I can try and satisfy these equations. The case which satisfies these equations will be the right case. So if I start with the very first one, which is 1 and 5, and if I put the value of A as 1 here and the value of B as 5 here, this becomes 1 plus 1, which is 2, and 1 into 5, that is nothing but 5. 5 plus 2 becomes 7, which is definitely not equals to 14. So this is wrong case. Now let's go for the second case, which is 2 and 4. If we try and take the value of A as 2, this becomes 4. This is again 2. 4 plus 2 becomes 6. And A into B will be nothing but 8. So 8 plus 6 becomes 14, which makes this case absolutely correct. So from this, what I got the value of A as 2 and the value of B as 4. Now my correct answer should be 2 times of A plus B, which is 2 times of 2, that is 4, plus 4, which is nothing but 8. So this was the first question. Let's proceed for the next question. I hope you understood this. So here is our second question, which is based upon greatest integer function. So the question says that summation of all the outputs when we keep our input from 1 to n, the result is equals to 25. Okay. So that's a very good question based upon greatest integer function. What I can do here is I can solve this expression little bit. So what I can do is the expression is 1 upon 5 plus n upon 25 and this is given in greatest integer. So what I can do, I can take my LCM as 25. This is coming out as 5. This is nothing but n. So if I put the value of n equals to 20, my numerator becomes 25 and 25 divided by 25, that becomes 1. And it will give me the output equals to 1 when n is equals to 20. So for all the values lesser than 20, let's say we keep n is equals to 1, this becomes 6 upon 25, the value is 0 point something. For all the values less than 1, the result will be equals to 0. So from all the inputs, n equals to 1 to 19, the result is straight away, the result of this greatest integer function is straight away equals to 0. So there is no output in terms of, there is 0 output for all the inputs 1 to 19. Now next, when we put n is equals to 20, the numerator becomes 25 and the result becomes 1. So for n is equals to 20, my output is 1. So if we observe this again, when we put n is equals to, let's say 45, this becomes, numerator becomes 50, and when I divide 50 by 25, the result becomes 2. That means for all the inputs of n from 20 till 44, the result is gonna be 1 only. So from n is equals to 20 to 44, my result is coming out as 1. 1 for each input. That means how many values I am having from 20 to 44. So this is nothing but 25 values. For every value, I am getting the output equals to 1. That means for 25 values, my sum should be equals to 25. So that means what can be the largest possible value of n that we can put so that the sum of all the outputs becomes equals to 25. So that value is nothing but 44. I hope you understand this question. Okay, so let's proceed for the next question. Okay, so this is an easy question based upon time, speed and distance. So the question says there are two trains, trains A and B, and the trains have started simultaneously at the same time towards each other with constant speeds from X and Y respectively. Perfect. So let's draw this scenario till here. So I have two stations, the one is X and the other one is, let's say, Y. So these are the two stations that I am having. Now the question says train A reaches station Y in 10 minutes. So train A travels this entire distance. Okay. So this distance is covered by train A in 10 minutes. Perfect. Now, while the train B takes 9 minutes to reach station X after meeting train A. That's so obvious. When the two trains are starting simultaneously from the opposite directions, definitely they are going to meet at some point in between. So let's say train B started from here and somewhere here there lies a meeting point. So this is our meeting point where the meeting happened, let's say. Now, question says train B takes 9 minutes to reach station X. So this time is given as 9 minutes by train B. And the question is asking, find out, then the total time taken in minutes by train B to travel from station Y to station X is. That's a good question. Now the question says you have to find out the total time taken by B from station Y to station X when you are provided with a total time of 10 minutes for A when it's traveling from station X to station Y. Okay, let's understand something. The trains are traveling at constant speed. I'm not saying the trains are traveling at same speed, but yes, they are traveling at constant speed. That means their speed is maintained throughout. So if we take the ratio of their speeds, that should also be constant throughout. So if we take the ratio of their time taken, that should also remain constant throughout. The ratio should remain constant throughout. Okay. I hope you understand this concept. Now, since they have started simultaneously, that means the time taken by the two should be same. Which time taken? The time taken of meeting. T meet should be same for the two. So let's say train A took t minutes till here. At the same time, train B took t minutes till here. If the total time taken by train A is 10 minutes and time from station X till your meeting point is t minutes, that means the remaining time should be 10 minus t minutes. This should be 10 minus t minutes. And at the same time, this time is given as 9 minutes. Which one? Post meeting till station X, and this should be obviously t minutes. Now if we try and find out the ratio of the two times, that should be same. So this is t by 9, which is equals to 10 minus t upon t. What I can do here is, instead of making a quadratic equation and solving that, I can put up the values one by one, and for a value for which the ratio becomes equal, that should be the correct option. Now, since in my options I am provided with the total time, and I can easily see that this much time is 9 minutes, so total time must be more than 9 minutes. So which rules out this option? And since I take second option, which is 10, if I subtract 9 minutes from it, my t becomes 1 minute. Let's put it here. So this is 1 by 9. This is 10 minus 1, which is 9 upon 1. So definitely this ratio is not equal for this. So this is also eliminated. Let's take 15. So 15 minus 9, t becomes 6. Let's put 6 here. For 6, this is 6 upon 9, which is 2 by 3. And this is again 10 minus 6, which is 4 by 6, again 2 by 3. Yes. So this ratio is equal for when I take total time equals to 15. So my correct answer is third option. I hope you understand. Okay, so this is our next question, question number 4. And this is based upon a concept of geometry based upon trapezium. And the question says there is a trapezium ABCD having side AD parallel to BC and angle BAD equals to 90 degree. Let's try and plot the figure first. So we have to draw a trapezium with one angle equals to 90 degree. So let's say this angle is equals to 90 degree. And this is A, this is D, this is nothing but B. So BAD becomes 90 degree. AD is parallel to BC. So these two sides are parallel. Then BC, the length of BC is given as 3 centimeter. And AD is nothing but 8 centimeter. So this length is given as 8 centimeter. That means if I drop a perpendicular from here, this much length is 3, the total length is 8, that means this much length should be 5 centimeter. Okay, now the perimeter of trapezium is given as 36 centimeter. That means the total boundary, which is AB plus BC plus CD plus DA, is given as 36. I have to find out its area. Perfect. So from the total perimeter, if I subtract the sum of these two sides, which is 8 plus 3, that is 11. If I subtract this, the remaining distance, the sum of the remaining distance is 25, is coming out as 25. Perfect. Now, what I can do here is, since this is also a right angle triangle, with one side I am provided with 5, I can recall of one Pythagorean triplet, which is 5, 12 and 13. So if I take this as 12, if I take this as 13 centimeter, then if this is 13 centimeter, this should be 12 centimeters, since the sum of these two sides is coming out as 25. And I can observe that since I have dropped a perpendicular here, this is 12, this is also equals to 12, which fits my calculation. Okay, so for now, what I have to do is I have to find out the area of this entire figure. So if you closely look upon this figure, here lies one rectangle So its area is very easy to calculate. So this is 12, this is 3, this becomes 36 centimeter square. So the area of this rectangle becomes 36 centimeter square. Now I have to find out the area of this triangle, which is coming out as half base into height, which is 6 into 5, that is 30 centimeter square. So this area is coming out as 30. Now to find out the total area, I have to simply add the two areas. So 36 plus 30, that becomes 66 centimeters square. That's my answer for this question. I hope you understand. This was our question number 4. Okay, so again, I have natural numbers x, y and z, and xy plus yz is nothing but equals to 19. So let's write it here. xy plus yz is coming out as 19. yz plus xz is coming out as 51. So yz plus xz is nothing but equals to 51. Perfect. So let's do one thing. Let's take y common from the two individual expressions. So this becomes y into x plus z equals to 19. And here if we take z common, this becomes y plus x into z equals to 51. What I have to do is I have to find out the minimum possible value of x into y into z. So I have to try and find out the value of x, y and z in such a way that their product should be minimum. That means there are gonna be multiple cases again. So let's try and solve this. What we can do here is, since my RHS is a product of two natural numbers. So y is a natural number. Since x and z are also natural numbers, so their sum should also be a natural number. Since 19 is a prime number, so what I can do at RHS is I can write this as 1 into 19. And definitely y will be smaller or lesser in comparison to sum of x and z. So y should be equal to 1. X plus z should be equal to 19. So I came to this conclusion from my left part. Let's proceed with this one. So here I have to break 51 into two factors again. So what I can do is z into y plus x is equals to 17 into 3 is 51. So this becomes 3 into 17. Now I have two possibilities. One, I can take z equals to 3 and x plus y equals to 17. This is my one possibility. The other one is I can take z equals to 17 and x plus y equals to 3. So if I take the first case and let's say z is equals to 3, from this y is already 1, z is 3, so x becomes 16. So if I take this case, y is coming out as 1, z is coming out as 3 and x is coming out as 16, and my product of x, y and z, this is coming out as 48. But when I take the other case, which is z equals to 17, x plus y equals to 3, let's see what are the values that I am getting. So since z is equals to 17, x should be equals to 2 from this expression. Z is equals to 17, so x becomes 2. And since x is 2, y is coming out as 1 from this particular expression. So from this, x into y into z is nothing but 34. So we can easily say that this is the smaller value when we compare the two. So which case is rejected? This case is rejected. This case is accepted. Now my minimum possible value of x, y, z becomes 34. That's the answer for this question. Yes, so this is a beautiful question based upon quadratic equation. The graph, which is parabolic curve, that symbolizes a quadratic expression. Now let's observe this. What is the data we are provided with? So it says that A, B and C are non-zero real numbers such that B square is less than 4AC. So keep it in mind, guys. It says that B square is less than 4AC. That represents imaginary roots for the expression. And when it is imaginary roots for the expression, then my curve, it can never touch or cut x-axis at all. So now I have two possibilities for my curve. One is either my curve will be drawn open upward. It can be here, it can be left, it can be anywhere, but it will open upward. This is my first possibility. When the curve will open upward, when the value of A is greater than 0, this opens upward, and since my D discriminant is less than 0, which can be inferred from here, my curve will not touch or cut x-axis at all. This is one case. Or the other case possible is my curve can open downward and not cut or touch x-axis at all. So when it will open downward, when my value of A is less than 0. So now let's read the question further. The question says if the set S consists of all integers m such that f of m, the value of my expression at m, is less than 0, then the set must necessarily be what? So this is a beautiful question, guys. So when your A is greater than 0, then we can easily see that there does not lie a single value in my set for which the value of the expression is less than 0. So you can easily see that the value of expression is always positive. This is my positive y-axis, this is my negative y-axis. So for all the values, my output is coming out as positive. So there does not lie any value in my set S for which my expression gives me value less than 0. But at the same time, if my A is less than 0, then my curve will always open downward and it will give me all the values which are less than 0. So from this conclusion, from this discussion, the conclusion becomes, let's go with options one by one. So the first option says the empty set. I think partially correct, not completely correct. Then it says the set of all positive integers. No, this we can easily rule it out. This is not possible because if it is true, then it is true for all the integers, not only limited to positive integers at all. The set of all integers, yes, this can also be my answer, but this is also partially correct. Fourth option says either the empty set or the set of all integers. Yes, this is my answer. When it will be empty set, when A is greater than 0, then it will be an empty set. When it will be the set of all integers, when A is less than 0 and the curve open downwards, then it will be the set of all integers. What a beautiful question, guys. So this was a question based upon quadratic equations. Okay, so let's see this question. The question says a mixture contains lemon juice and sugar syrup in equal proportion. Perfect. So I have lemon juice and sugar syrup in equal proportion. That means the ratio is 1:1. So what I can do here is I can take the value of lemon juice as 1 liter. At the same time, the value of sugar syrup as 1 liter. This maintains my proportion of 1:1. Now the question says if a new mixture is created by adding this mixture and sugar syrup in the ratio 1:3. So what you are doing right now is you are taking this mixture completely and then you are adding sugar syrup in this ratio 1:3. So if we are taking this mixture and then we are adding some more sugar syrup to it and the ratio is 1:3. So with respect to 1, what is the quantity that I have taken here for the mixture? So this is 2 liters. Then this sugar syrup must be equals to 6 liters. So if you can observe, the ratio is coming out as 1:3. Okay, perfect. Now this mixture, if I break it into its components, its constituents, one is lemon juice, the other one is sugar syrup. The quantity here is 1 liter. This quantity is again 1 liter. Now the question says I have to find out the ratio of lemon juice and sugar syrup in the new mixture. So this is my new mixture. What is the quantity of lemon juice that I am having? So here it is 1 liters, that's all. And if I find out the total quantity of sugar syrup, this is coming out as 1 liter and 6 liter, which is nothing but 7 liters. So the ratio becomes 1:7, which makes my fourth option as correct answer. So this was question number 7, which is very, very easy, and it was based upon ratio and proportion. Let's proceed for the next question. This question is based upon average. Okay, let's see. The question says the average of 3 integers is 13. When a natural number n is included, the average of these 4 integers remains an odd integer, then the minimum possible value of n. So this question can be quickly solved with the help of options. And the question is asking you to find out the minimum possible value of n for which the average remains an odd integer. Okay, let's try and put the values, keep the values in such a way that all the conditions are getting fulfilled. Firstly, the average of 3 integers is given as 13. That means the sum of these 3 integers is coming out as 39. Perfect. So when we include one natural number and in such a way that I have to keep my average as an odd integer. Let's start with the first option, which is 3. If I add 3 in 39, that becomes 42. And when I'm dividing 42 with 4 to find out the average of 4 integers, this is definitely not coming out as an integer. So this option gets ruled out. Let's start with second option, which is 1. If I add 1 to 39, this becomes 40, and when I'm dividing it by 4 to find out my new average, this is coming out as 10, which is definitely not an odd integer, which rules out this option as well. Let's proceed for third option. This gives me the value as 43. 43 is not divisible by 4, so my integer value won't be there. So this is also ruled out, which makes my correct answer as 5. But let's try and solve this as well. So 39 plus 5 becomes 44, and when I'm dividing it by 4, this is giving me my average of equal, which is an odd integer. So that makes my option 4 as correct answer. Okay, so this is a fantastic question of based on profit, loss and discount. Let's see what the question says. Question says that Amal buys 110 kg of syrup. Let's write the quantity here. So syrup is 110 kgs and 120 kg of juice. So the quantity of juice is nothing but 120 kgs. Now the question says that syrup being 20% less costly than juice in per kg. So if I take the cost price of juice as X rupees per kg, this is nothing but 0.8x rupees per kg. This is my cost price in per kg. So if I try and find out the total cost here, the total cost is coming out as 110 into 0.8x, which is 88x, and 120 into x, this is per kg price. The total quantity is given as 120, so my total cost becomes 120x. So if I add the two values, my total cost is coming out as 208x. This is my total cost. Next, the question says he sells. So this was my cost section. Now let's try and solve the selling side as well. So now question says that he is selling 10 kg of syrup at 10% profit. So if I take 10 kg of syrup separately, the selling price is coming out as, so my cost price is given as 0.8x for syrup in per kg, and the question says that I'm having 10% profit. So this is nothing but 1.1 into 0.8, which is giving me my into 10 as well. So total selling price is coming out as 8.8x. So what I've done, this was my cost per kg, 10% profit I'm having on selling 10 kg. So if I am multiplying it by 1.1, it becomes 8.8x and my 0.88x, and my total quantity is given as 10 kg. So multiply it with 10 kg, the result is 8.8x. Now for juice, the question says that you are selling 20 kgs of juice and you are selling it at 20% profit. So the cost of juice in per kg is X rupees. When you are adding 20% profit to it, the selling price in per kg becomes 1.2x. You multiply it with 20, it will give you 24x. So total selling price of this part is 32.8x. So this is your total selling price till here. This is my selling price. Now the question says he's selling the mixture. How he's preparing the mixture? So he's remaining the juice. He's mixing the remaining juice and syrup. So if I take the total quantity of syrup as 110 and 10 kg is used here, the remaining becomes 100 kg. Same for juice, total quantity was 120, out of which 20 I have used here, so the remaining is again 100. So 100 and 100 becomes 200 kgs. So this 200 kg, when you will multiply it with 308.32 per kg, then this will give you the total selling price of your mixture, which is coming out as 2 into 2, 4, 3 2s are 6, 8 into 2 is 16, 3 2s are 6. So this is coming out as your total selling price of mixture. If I add this as well as this, then I'll find out the total selling price of my entire system, which is coming out as 32.8x plus 61,664. And this is equals to, what should be the total selling price? Okay, so let's read it further. The question says he's making an overall profit of 64%. What is the total cost price? The total cost price is 208x. So my total selling price should be 1.64 into 208x. This is my total selling price. Now I have to solve this and I have to find out the value of x firstly. So let's quickly solve it. This says 1.64, you are multiplying it with 208, the result is coming out as 341.12 and left part is 32.8. So when you will subtract 32.8 from it, the result is coming out as 308.32 again. Now when we'll divide 61,664 with 308.32, we'll find out our value of x, which is 61,664 divided by 308.32. The value is coming out as 200. Now the question is asking you to find out Amal's cost price for syrup in rupees per kg. So what's his cost price for syrup? The cost price of syrup in rupees per kg is given as 0.8x. So when you will multiply 200 with 0.8, the result is coming out as 160 rupees. That's the correct answer for this particular question. So let's quickly repeat it again what we have done here. So we were provided with a total quantity of syrup equals to 110 kg. Total quantity of juice, which was 120 kg, syrup being 20% less costly than juice. So what we have done, we have taken the cost price in per kg of juice as x rupees. So the cost price per kg of syrup becomes 0.8 x rupees. Now the question says you are selling 10 kg of syrup at 10% profit. That gives you a selling price per kg for syrup as 1.1 into 0.8x, which is nothing but 8.8x. And how I got this 8.8x? So this was per kg. I have multiplied it with 10 kgs, the total quantity, which gives me 8.8x. Now for juice again, my cost price per kg is x rupees and I am having 20% profit in it. That means 1.2x multiplied by total quantity, which is 24x. So now my total selling price for this part is 32.8x. Now the question says he is mixing the remaining part, which is 100 and 100. That gives me 200 and he's selling that mixture at 308.32 rupees per kg. So this gives me my total selling price of remaining mixture as 61,664. So if I add these two values, I'll get my total selling price, which is coming out as this. And this should be equals to my total selling price of the system, which I am getting how? By adding 64% profit to my total cost, which is 208. So this gives me a result. I'll solve this. When solve this, I'll find out the value of X as 200. This is the value of X. Now the question is asking you to find out the cost price for syrup in rupees per kg, which is 0.8x. So when you'll multiply this 200 with 0.8, you'll find out the value as 160 rupees per kg. I hope you get this question. Let's proceed for the next question, which is question number 10. The question says you have any natural number n, and suppose the sum of the first n terms of an arithmetic progression is n plus 2n square. Perfect. So you are provided with sum of n consecutive natural numbers as n plus 2n square. This is how you are defining a sum of n consecutive natural numbers. If the nth term of the progression is divisible by 9, you have to find out the smallest possible value of n. So question is asking you, which is the smallest term that is divisible by 9? So guys, if I take the value of n is equals to 1 and I put in this expression will give me my first term, because sum of one term is nothing but that term itself. So from this I can find out my first term, which is coming out as 1 plus 2, that is 3. When I take n is equals to 2, this expression will give me the sum of first two terms. So what is this result? So when I am putting n is equals to 2, this is 4 into 2, 8 plus 2, 10. From these two expressions, I can easily find out that my second term is coming out as 7. And when I take n is equals to 3, this result gives me the sum of 3 consecutive natural numbers, which is what? So let's put n is equals to 3. This is 9 into 2, 18, 18 and 3, that is 21. So from this, if I subtract, sorry, this is A2. From this, if I subtract the sum of A1 and A2, which is 10, I can easily say that my third term is coming out as 11. So guys, if you observe this, my first term is 3, second term is 7, third term is 11. So what should be my next term? So my next term, what's the difference here? So the difference is continuously increasing. I mean, the difference is constant, but the difference is plus 4. And the next term should be 15. The next term should be 19. Then again, if you add plus 4, it becomes 23. And if you add plus 4 again, it becomes 27. So now the question is asking you the value of n, I mean the term, which is divisible by 9, and it should be smallest possible. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th term is coming here. That's the answer. So this is again a very good question, which is based upon profit, loss and discount as well as your mixtures. Now the question says Ankita buys 4 kg of cashews, 14 kg of peanuts and 6 kg of almonds. So let's write it down here. What are the quantities available? So firstly, cashews, this is 4 kg. Then peanuts, this is 14 kg. And now I am having almonds, that is 6 kg. Perfect. Now the question says the cost of 7 kg cashews is the same as that of 30 kg peanuts. That means 7 kg cashews. So let's say 1 kg cashew costs C rupees. So 7 kg becomes 7C. This is equals to 30 kg peanuts. And this is equals to again 9 kg of almonds. Now guys, what we can do is we can assume that these values are equal to a certain number. What we can assume that as? So my assumption should be in such a way that my calculation should be very, very easy. For that, what I can do is I can take out the LCM of these numbers 7, 30 and 9. So what is that LCM? So the LCM is coming out as 630 And since I cannot assume that a definite value, for that I'll put up x here. So 7c equals to 30p equals to 9a, and this is equals to 630x. From here I can easily say that 1c equals to 90x, 1p equals to 21x, and 1a equals to 70x. So this is the cost price that I am getting here for per kg of cashews, per kg of peanuts, and per kg of almonds. So from here what I can do is I can find out my total cost. I can easily find out my total cost. What is my total cost? So that is 90x into 4, which is 360x, that is for cashews. 21 into 14, so this is coming out as 7372, which is 49 into 6. 50 into 6 is 300 minus 6, that is 294x, and this is 420x. So these are the total cost price values for your cashews, the quantity of cashews given in the question, the quantity of peanuts, as well as the quantity of almonds. Okay, fair enough. Let's proceed from here. Now the question says she mixes all the 3 nuts and marks a price for the mixture in order to make a profit of 1752. That means if she is selling that mixture at your mark price, then she is getting a profit equals to 1752 rupees. Perfect. So what's my total quantity? My total quantity is 24 kgs. So if this 24 kg is sold at mark price, so this is my selling price, that means this should be equals to the cost price of 24 kg, whatever it is. Let's write it down. I'm not taking the sum here, I'm simply writing it down as CP, and I'm adding my profit to it, which is 1752. Now the question says that she sells 4 kg of the mixture at this mark price. That means 4 kg into your mark price per kg, and the remaining at a 20% discount on the mark price. 20% discount means you are reducing the value by 1/5. That means you are still having a value of 4/5. So what's the quantity? So total quantity was 24, out of which 4 kg you have used here. So the remaining quantity is 20 kgs, which you are selling at 4/5 of mark price. So this is coming out as 16 plus 4. This result is coming out as 20 into 20 kgs into mark price. This is coming out as this. Now this is again my selling price when I'm selling 4 kg at mark price and the remaining at 20% discount. In this situation, the cost will still remain same, and I am having a profit of 744. So this is my selling price. Selling price equals to cost price plus profit, or if I'm having a loss, then I have to reduce that loss. Now, if I subtract this expression, my second expression from the first one, then I'll get my RHS equals to 12 minus 4, that is 8, 4 minus 4 is 0, 7 minus 7 is 0, and this is 1. 24 minus 20 is 4 into MP. So this is 252. So my mark price per kg, my mark price in rupees per kg is coming out as 252. I hope it is clear till here. Now the question is asking you to find out the amount in rupees that she had spent in buying almonds. Okay, perfect. So now this was my first case. This was my first case when I was selling the entire quantity at mark price. So if I'm selling my entire quantity at mark price, what I can do here? I can replace the MP with 252. Let's remove this part from here. So this will give me 24 into 252. This is my cost price and this is my 1752. So let's find out the cost price from here first, and then we'll find out the value of cost price of almonds. Perfect. So what's the value of cost price here? So 24 into 252 minus 1752. Let's solve this quickly for now. So this is 24 into 252, which is 6048. And from this, I have to subtract 1752, which is 4296. Now this should be equals to the total cost, which is coming out as 4, 8, 8, 16, 17, 4, 3, 7, 7, 2, 9 and 110, 1074x. This is my total cost. This is 1074x. From here, I can find out the value of x easily. This is coming out as 4296 divided by 1074. So this is coming out as 4. This is my value of x. Now the question is asking you to find out the amount in rupees that she had spent in buying almonds. So the value of almonds, the cost price of almonds is 420x. So if you multiply 420 with 4, the result is coming out as 086. So 1680, which is third option, that's the right answer for this question. So the question says the average weight of students in a class increases by 600 grams when some new students join the class. If the average weight of new students is 3 kg more than the average weight of the original students, then the ratio of the number of original students to the number of new students is what? So guys, we can easily solve this question with the help of alligation. How we can do that? So let's assume the original average of the original strength of the class was A. Okay, so that was my original average. Now some new students join the class and the average weight of new students is 3 kg more than the average weight of original. So this is the average weight of original. So the average weight of new student should be A plus 3 kgs. And the question says that the average weight of students in a class, that means the overall average of the class, increases by 600 grams. That makes my result as A plus 0.6. So this is in grams. I have to convert it into kgs. For that, I have to divide it with 1000. Now, if I solve this and find out the ratio, this is coming out as 2.4 when I'm subtracting A plus 3 minus A plus 0.6, which is 2.4. And from here, A plus 0.6 minus A, which is 0.6. This ratio is coming out as 4:1. So what is this ratio? So this is the ratio of number of students representing this average to the number of students representing this average. So this is nothing but the ratio of original number of students to the number of new students. That makes my second option absolutely correct. Okay, so let's see this question, what it is. The question says the number of ways of distributing 20 identical balloons amongst 4 children such that each child gets some balloons but no child gets an odd number of balloons. So guys, this is an amazing question based upon grouping and distribution from PNC. Now what I have to do here is I have to satisfy this condition, the condition given here that every child is having even number of balloons, not an odd number of balloons. So to ensure that, what I can do is I can multiply all these values with 2 and this should be equals to 20. So this will ensure that each child is having even number of balloons. Now if I take 2 common from here, this becomes A plus B plus C plus D, which is coming out as 10. Now the situation is like this, that I am having 10 identical balloons and I have to distribute amongst 4 children. So to distribute, to make, to divide 10 identical things into 4 groups, I need 3 separations. So that means I am having, and also one more condition I have to, ensure here, I have to satisfy here. The condition says that each child gets some balloons. That means no child is having zero value. That means how I can ensure that? So what we can do is, out of these 10 balloons, let's give one each to them already. This ensures that each child is having at least one balloon. The condition of even is already satisfied here. Now this condition is also gets satisfied here. So out of 10 balloons, if I have given 4 to them, how many I am left out with? So I have left out with 6. So these are the balloons that are left out, and these 6 balloons I have to distribute amongst these 4. So how many separations do I need? I need 3 separations. So 6 plus 3 becomes 9 factorial upon 6 factorial. Why I am dividing it with 6 factorial? Because all these 6 balloons are identical. So to avoid repetition, I have to divide it with 6 factorial. At the same time, I have to divide with 3 factorial because the 3 separations that I am taking are also identical. On solving this, the value that I am getting is 9 into 8 into 7 upon 6 factorial. 6 factorial will cancel out. This becomes 3 into 2. This is giving me 3. This is giving me 4. So 21 into 4, the answer is 84. So 84 ways I am having to distribute 20 identical balloons amongst 4 children, such that each child is getting some balloons and no child is getting an odd number of balloons. That's the correct answer for this question. I hope you understand. This was based upon grouping and distribution of PNC. Guys, this is a beautiful question based upon modulus. So let's understand a little bit about modulus first. So modulus is a function for any real input. It will always give you the result as positive guys, not negative at all. Now, if the result is going to be positive, what I can conclude from here is that this is also positive, this will also be positive, and the sum of these two values, the sum of these two outputs is going to be 2. That means what I can say is I am having 2 friends. The one is standing at x is equals to minus a. He is located here. Let's say the name of this friend is A. I am having other friend who is standing at x is equals to 1. The name of this friend is B. Now, if this friend travels this distance and meets B, the distance traveled should be equals to 2. Or if B travels this distance and meets A, again this distance should be 2. And if they both travel and meet somewhere in between, again the distance traveled should be equals to 2. Why I am taking this distance theory? Why I am taking this method is called as Friend's method. Why? How I can do that? So as I said, mod is always going to give me positive output and distance is always positive. So that means what I can say is the sum of these two distance traveled should be equals to 2 in this particular case. Now, the question says that the sum of this distance should be equals to 2, and I have to find out the largest value of A, for which I am having an infinite number of solutions. That means my x can lie anywhere. I have to find out the largest value of A in such a way. So if I take the value of A as 0, this point becomes x is equals to 0. From x is equals to 0 to x is equals to 1, the distance is coming out as 1. Is it coming out as 2? No, it's not. So this rules out this particular option. If I take this value as 2, the value of A as 2, this becomes minus 2. And when it is minus 2, from minus 2 to 1, this distance is coming out as 3. This distance is coming out as 3, guys. So is it 2? No, it's crossing 2. That means this option is also getting eliminated. If you observe fourth option, if you observe this option, the value of A is, so since I am taking the value of A as minus 1, this is giving me 1. This is giving me again 1. So is it possible that x is equals to 1, x is equals to 1, these 2 points are coinciding? That means the sum of distance traveled is not equals to 2, which rules out this option as well, which gives me the value of A equals to 1, for which x is equals to minus 1 And from -1 to 1, the distance is coming out as 2. That makes my third option absolutely correct. So I hope you understand this thing. This was Friend's method of solving these modulus questions. Let's proceed for the next question. Oh, that's a good question based on, a rectangle and circle. Now, all the vertices of a rectangle lie on a circle, that means it's concyclic, and the radius of the circle is given as r. If the perimeter of the rectangle is p, then the area of the rectangle is. And my answers are also given in the form of variables that allows me to assume the values. So how we should assume the values? Let's draw the figure first and let's get a little bit clarity before proceeding. So now the question says all the vertices of a rectangle lie on a circle. So let's draw a circle and let's draw one rectangle here. Fair enough. The radius of the circle is r. That means from the center to this point, the distance is r. Let's draw this. Okay. Now, so since my answer options are in the form of r and p, I need r. And how I can find out my perimeter? So perimeter is nothing but twice of length and breadth. Fair enough. So let's do one thing. Let's assume the values in such a way that this triangle becomes a perfect Pythagorean triplet, which is, let's say 3, this becomes 4, and this becomes 5. So if this length is 4, obviously this length will also be 4. Why? From the center I am dropping a perpendicular. So my perpendicular from center to the chord bisects it into 2 parts. This is my radius, this is 3. Since this is 3, my total distance, this is gonna be 6. Again, the same logic, if you drop a perpendicular from here, it's a chord, so it will divide it into 2 parts. So if this is 3, this is also gonna be 3. The sum is coming out as 6. So my length becomes 8, my breadth becomes 6, 8 and 6 becomes 14, 14 into 2 becomes 28. So my perimeter becomes 28 and my radius becomes 5. From this, if I try and find out the area of rectangle, the area is coming out as length into breadth, which is 8 into 6, that is 48. Now, I'll put these values of P and R in the options, and an option in which after substituting these values, the result I am getting as 48 will be my correct answer option. So let's try and put these values. So if I put P is equals to 28, let's use first option. So if I put P is equals to 28, my first expression, 28 into 28 upon 16 minus r square. What is r square? That is 25. So this is 4, 7, this is again 7, 7 into 7, 49 minus 25, never gonna give me 48. So that rules out this option. This is wrong. Let's proceed for the next option. P square by 2 again. So this is 28 into 28 upon 2 minus 2 into P into R. That means 2 into P into R, 28 into 10, which is 280, and this is giving me 14 into 28. So if I take 28 common, 14 minus 10 becomes 4. 28 into 4 is not 48. This option also gets ruled out. Let's proceed for the third option, which is P square by 8. That means 28 into 28 upon 8 minus R square by 2, which is 25 by 2. So if I solve this, this is 4 2s are 8, 4 7s are 28, this is 14. Left side is integer, right side is coming out as, this part is integer, this part is coming out as decimal. That means my final answer is gonna be in decimal. My area is coming out as 48, which is not a decimal number. So that's rule out my option 3 as well. My correct answer is fourth option. Let's try and satisfy this. So this is 28 into 28 upon 8, which is same like this. So this is 7, this is 14, and minus 2 times of r square, which is 25. So 14 into 7, that means 98, minus 50, this is coming out as 48, which is my area. That's a perfect way to solve this particular question. I hope you understand this thing. Let's proceed for the next question. Yes. This is based upon coordinate geometry, and the question says that ABCD is a parallelogram such that the coordinates of its three vertices A, B, C are given respectively. Then the coordinates of the vertex D are. Fair enough. So let's say, let's draw a random figure here. Let's try and draw a random figure here as close as possible. So let's say my one point is 1, 1. This is my one point, which is 1, 1. My other point is 3, 4, which will be, just a moment. Yes. So let's say my one point is 1, 1, which is somewhat here. Next point is 3, 4. Let's say this point is here. Next point is minus 2, 8, which will be somewhat here. Let's say minus 2, 8. And my fourth point gonna be somewhat here. So if I join, this will be somewhat like a parallelogram. Yes. Now I have to find out the coordinates of this fourth vertex. Guys, you can clearly see that this fourth point gonna lie here, so it will never gonna cross this side, right? So if you observe option 2 says 0, 11, which will be definitely towards right of this. So this option gets ruled out. 4, 5, which will be again in first quadrant somewhat here. So this also gets ruled out. Now I am having two possibilities. Either my answer option is 1 or my answer option is 4. Now, since it's a parallelogram and the diagonals of a parallelogram always bisects each other. The diagonals of a parallelogram always bisects each other. That means this point of intersection will always be a midpoint of this line, this particular line. If I take this line, this point is gonna be the midpoint of this. Fair enough? So, if from that, if I add these x coordinates, this should be equals to the sum of these x coordinates as well. Why so? So let's say if this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2, this is x3, y3. Let's try and understand this first. This is x4, y4. This is x4, y4. Then x1 plus x2 by 2. This will be the midpoint of this line. Now, since the same point is the midpoint of this line, this should be equals to x3 plus x4 by 2. This will cancel out. The sum of opposite x coordinates will always be equal in case of a parallelogram. So which gives me a very quick way of solving this question. So from here what I can see is x plus 3 should be equals to this is minus 2 plus 1. So x plus 3 is coming out as minus 1, x is coming out as minus 4, which is option 4. That's the correct answer for this question. Next question is this. That's a beautiful question. Now the question says, let a be the largest possible integer that divides all the numbers of the form. So let's say a is something which is, so these are the numbers of this form, and a is a number which is dividing all such numbers of this format. And b is again a largest possible integer that divides all the numbers of this format. 4 to the power k plus 3 times of 4 to the power k plus 4 to the power k. We can split that. 4 to the power k into 4 to the power 2, which is 16 into 4 to the power k. So the result is coming out here on simplifying 16, 3, 19 and 120. This is nothing but 20 into 4 to the power k. And this is the simplest possible form of it. So guys, one thing to be noticed here is this will always gonna be odd for whatever values of k you take. Likewise, this will again always gonna be an odd number, whatever values of k you take starting from 1. This will always gonna give you an even result. So the sum of two odd numbers is always even, and even will give you result as even. That means this will always gonna come out as even. Now if you take the smallest possible value of k equals to 1, this result is always gonna divisible by 2. That means my value that ensures, the largest possible value of a that ensures that it will always divide this expression will be a equals to 2. Let's proceed here. Now this is already even. So even if you take the smallest possible value of k equals to 1 here, this is gonna give you 20 into 4, that is 80. This is the simplest possible number, that smallest possible number that will always divide this particular expression. That gives me the value of b equals to 80. I have to ensure that these numbers are always getting divided completely. So from this, a plus b is coming out as 82, and my answer for this question is 82. So guys, this was so easy question. All you have to do is you have to understand the concept of odd and even, how the sum of two odd numbers becomes even and the sum of even and even becomes again even. So I have another question based upon modulus, and the question says that a function is given which is mod of x minus a plus mod of x minus 100 plus mod of x minus a minus 50, or mod of x minus of a plus 50. So let's do one thing. Let's plot these points on our number line first. So my first point is coming out as x is equals to a here. My next point is coming out as x is equals to 100 somewhat here. And now let's do one thing. Let's assume the values of a one by one from the options and try and find out that sum of the distance traveled should be equals to 100 as per the question. Now the question says the maximum value of the function becomes 100. So when a is equals to out of these options. Fair enough. And this condition is also given that a should be greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equals to x. X should be greater than or equals to a but less than or equals to 100. So as I have discussed in the previous modulus question as well, also I'll do one thing. I'll make a separate video on this friends method, how to solve modulus questions with the help of this friends method. So this is nothing but the sum of distance traveled, and the sum of distance traveled should be equals to 100. So if I assume the value of a equals to 25, this point becomes 25, this is already 100, and this should be 25 and 50, which is 75, x minus 75, my point should be somewhat here. So these are the three friends, one who is standing at x is equals to 25, the other one b standing at x is equals to 100, and the third one c who is standing at x is equals to 75. Now I have to make them travel in such a way that the maximum distance becomes 100. Let's say if this friend comes and meets b here, this maximum distance is gonna be 75. This is not coming out as 100. Okay, let's say this friend is coming here, meeting him, this is coming out as 75. C is coming out here and meets B, and this distance is coming out as 25. So the sum of this distance is coming out as 100. At the same time, if B travels and meets C at 75, this distance is gonna be 25, and for him this distance is gonna be 50. So this is coming out as 75, not as 100. That means at this extreme point, this value is giving me the result as 100, but not at any point in between. Okay, let's compare the other options as well. Let's compare, let's say, fourth option, which is 50. So if a is 50, then this point becomes x is equals to 50. This is x is equals to 100. And this will be again x is equals to 100. That means two friends are standing at x is equals to 100 and one is standing at x is equals to 50. Now I have to make them travel in such a way that the maximum value of function becomes 100. That means the sum of distance traveled should be equals to 100. If this friend travels this distance and meets B and C here, this distance traveled should be equals to 50, which is not coming out as 100. Clear? So definitely this, he is not gonna move. Now if B and C moves and travels this distance, the sum of the distance traveled by the 2, 50 for 1, so 100 will be for 2. This distance is coming out as 100. So we can take the value of A as 50. So this is the correct answer for this particular question. I hope you understand. So for your reference, we'll make a separate video on this friends method, how this is gonna be solved. Okay, let's proceed for the next question, which is 19th question. And the question says that Pinky is standing in a queue at a ticket counter. Suppose the ratio of the number of persons standing ahead of Pinky. So let's say here's Pinky, the number of persons ahead. So this is ahead, and to the number of persons standing behind her. So this is behind, let's say. So the ratio is given as 3:5. So if this value is 3x, this value will be 5x. So if I have to find out the total number of persons standing here, this result is coming out as 8x plus 1 for Pinky. These are the total number of persons standing here. Now the question says if the total number of persons in the queue is less than 300, that means 8x plus 1 should be less than 300 and 8x should be less than 299. So if I'm solving this, the value of x is coming out as 8 3s are 24, this is 59, 8 7s are 56, 37 point something. So definitely lesser value than this, x is coming out as 37. Why 37 and not any lesser value? Because the question says you have to find out the maximum possible of number of persons standing ahead of Pinky. So x should be maximum. At the same time, it should fulfill this condition and it should be an integer. Why? Because number of persons can't be in decimal, right? So x is coming out as 37. So how many persons are standing ahead of her? 3x. So 37 into 3, that becomes 1, 1 and 1. That's the correct answer. So let's see this question. This is a beautiful question based upon Venn diagram. The question says there's a class having total students equals to 100. 73 likes coffee, 80 likes tea and 52 likes lemonade. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's draw the Venn diagram first. So it says that total is nothing but 100 and coffee lovers are 73. Then tea lovers 80 and you have lemonade lovers, which is equals to 52. Now the question says that it may be possible that some students do not like any of these three drinks. That means there may be a possibility that some of them don't like any of these drinks. Now, then the difference between the maximum possible value and minimum possible number of students who like all of the three drinks is, that's a good question. So if we observe this closely, what we can do here is, let's do one thing. Let's write it down as P, let's take it Q and let's take it R, and this is X. So what is P? The number of students which is common in between coffee lovers as well as lemonade lovers. Q, which is common between lemonade and tea. R, which is common between coffee and tea. What is X? X is the number of students who likes all the three drinks. Fair enough. Okay, so let's try to write one expression here, which is 73 plus 52 plus 80. If I subtract P plus Q plus R once, and if I subtract X twice, also if I add the value of number of students who don't like any of the drinks, then this must be equals to 100. I hope you get this right. Now, Firstly, I have to find out the max possible value of x. This is so easy to find out. So if you observe carefully, the lemonade lovers, the number of students who likes lemonade, that is equals to 52. So anyhow, if you give all these 52 students all the 3 drinks, then never the value of x can cross 52. It can never ever be more than 52. Why so? Because if you are taking, let's say, x is equals to 53, which is 1 more than 52, that means from where this 1 came, since the total number of students who likes lemonade is given as 52. So the maximum value of x that is possible is 52. Now our challenge is to find out the minimum possible value of x. Okay, let's solve this a bit. Let's assume this thing equals to a. So a plus 2x is coming out as 70 and 50, 120, 80, 200, 205 minus 100, which is 105 plus none. Okay. So if we look our LHS, we have, what is our task? What is our goal? So our goal is to minimize the value of x. We have to minimize our x, right? So to minimize our x, this sum should be minimum possible. So can I reduce the value of this 105? Definitely not possible. This is a fixed value. What I can do here is I can take the value of none as 0. So let's take it as 0. Now a plus 2x becomes 105. Now let's do some hit and trial here. Let's say the value of x is 1. So if the value of x is 1, then this result is coming out as 2. And if I subtract 2 from 105, my a is coming out as 103. So what is a? The sum of p, q and r. And what is x? The number of students who likes all the 3 drinks. So the number of students who likes all the 2 drinks and the number of students who likes all the 3 drinks, can it ever cross 100? Definitely not possible. So if this summing, if the sum with, of a and x is crossing 100, this case is getting eliminated. This is not possible. So likewise, if you try and put values of x as 2, 3 and 4, again the sum will cross 100 and the cases will get eliminated. But when you will put x is equals to 5, this becomes 10 and 105 minus 10 becomes 95. So the value of a will be 95. Now 95 plus 5 will become 100. That's possible. The value of none already we have taken as 0. So the maximum value is coming out as 52 and the minimum possible value of x is coming out as 5. Now if I am finding out the difference between 52 and 5, the result is coming out as 47. The correct answer is 4th option. Let's proceed towards the next question. That's a good question on SI and CI. This is an easy one. The question says Alex invested his savings in 2 parts, and the first part he is getting 15% per annum for 4 years. That means 60% per annum for 1 year. And the amount, the interest that is getting from this first part, it's equals to the second one, and the kind of return that is getting from the second part is 12% per annum for 3 years or 36% per annum for 1 year. Now these two values are equal. Let's say the first part is P1, and what is the return that we are getting from the first part? So this is 60% for 1 year. This is 60% for 1 year. This is equals to, what is the amount invested in the second part? Let's say this is P2, and the kind of return that we are getting from here is 12% per annum for 3 years, which is 36% per annum per year basis for 1 year. Now if we are solving this, this is coming out as 3 and 5. So the ratio of P1 and P2 is nothing but 3/5. What I have to find out is the percentage of his savings invested in the first part. So how I can do that? The value of P1 is 3, the total is 8. If we solve this, this is nothing but 37.5%. Correct answer is first option. Let's proceed for the last question, which is this. Now the question says, in a village, the ratio of number of males and females is 5:4. So what I can do is, let's take the value of total number of males as 5x and the value of total number of females as 4x. Now the question says the ratio of number of literate males and literate females. That means I have one more category, which is literate males as well as literate females. So this is illiterate males, this is literate females and illiterate females. Fair enough. The ratio of literate males to literate females is 2:3. So if I take this as 2y, this is nothing but 3y. Now the question says the ratio of number of illiterate males to illiterate females is 4:3. 3600 males in the village are literate. That means 2y is nothing but equals to 3600. That means y is equals to 1800. So we got our value of y from here. Now the question says that the ratio of number of illiterate males to illiterate females. How we can find it out? So the total number of males is 5x. If we subtract 2y from it, we are getting 5x minus 2y, which is nothing but the number of illiterate males. Total females is 4x. If we subtract 3y from it, the result we are getting is 4x minus 3y. Now this ratio is given as 5x minus 2y upon 4x minus 3y. This ratio is given as 4:3. On solving this, 5 into 3, 15x minus 6y is equals to 16x minus 12y, which is nothing but x is equals to 6y. That means 6 times of y. What was the value of y? So we have solved and we got the value of y as 1800. Now simply we have to find it out. We have to find out the value of x, which is coming out as 6 times of 1800. But I have to find out the total number of females in the village, which is nothing but 4 times of this x. So my correct answer should be 24 into 1800. Now, how to multiply 24 and 18? This is 2 by 2 multiplication. I have created separate video, crisscross method, how to multiply any 2-digit number with this method. 8 into 4 is 32, 3 is carry forward, 16, 4, 20, 3, 23, 2 and 2, 4. The correct answer is 43200. I hope you enjoyed learning these questions. So this was your CAT 2022 slot 1. We'll come up with another video on CAT 2022 slot 2 quant section, complete solutions. And till then, keep solving, keep learning. See you in the next class. Bye-bye. Take care.